I'm Dr. O, and we're here today, and we're going to take a look at some saddle fit issues. Saddle fit is an area that is very, very difficult sometimes. Sometimes it can be even controversial. A lot of people will do saddle fit that put their hand, we'll have Lori come in and bring her horse in that she's been riding for us. And a lot of people will use their hands to do a saddle fit. And what they'll do, we'll turn Oliver around here for us. What they'll do is they come in here and they say, oh yeah, it's kind of tight here, but oh no, it doesn't, it feels okay. Well, that's really subjective depending on who's doing the saddle fit, because if we can get Lori to take her gloves off here a minute. My hand, I would feel tightness. Lori would be like, nah, it's not so much. Lori would go in and say, oh, feel this bridging here? The saddle doesn't fit my hand. And I would be like, yeah, it does. Okay? So if we use our hands as a saddle fit tool, it's very highly subjective, and it just depends on who's doing it. The other thing that using our hands with saddle fit doesn't take into account, do you want a saddle that fits your horse perfectly when he stands in the cross ties?
No.
Or do you want a saddle that fits your horse perfectly while you ride him?
While you ride.
While you ride him. So if we just fit Oliver while he's standing still, we haven't done anything. Saddle fit is not static. Saddle fit must include motion for it to be a total saddle fit. The other thing about saddle fit is that a lot of people think, I got my saddle fit a year ago. It should still fit. Okay? Can you wear the same clothes that you wore a year ago? No. No. You know, and do you fluctuate sometimes? Okay, so does your horse. His back is going to fluctuate depending on how much we're using him, what time of year it is. You know, are we putting on weight getting ready for winter? Is it springtime and we're starting to lose some of our winter weight? You know, how hard are we working? So remember that, saddle fit is not stable either. And just because your saddle fit today doesn't mean it's going to fit next week. So one of the tools that we like to use is the impression pad from Port Louis. And so we had Lori ride with the impression pad on in her saddle. We're going to take her saddle off here. And the impression pad is a Play-Doh pad that shows us where the pressure spots are while Lori was moving. And hopefully the Play-Doh will be even when we get done. And you can see there's a big area here where all the Play-Doh's been pushed out, and a smaller area here at the back. So this tells us there's bridging because the Play-Doh in the middle is very thick. Can you see that, Lori? Okay. And if we look at the other side, we have the same scenario. Bigger hole here, little hole here. So what are we going to do? We could reflock the saddle to fit Oliver. How many horses do you ride? Okay. So how many saddles do you ride? One. So reflocking the saddle is probably not an option for Lori. She rides a number of horses and has one saddle. I'm sure she would have loved to buy a different saddle for every horse, but probably not economically feasible. So let's think about how we can make her saddle fit on numerous horses. Maybe if we come in and do the correct padding, that would work the best. So if we took a pad that was even all the way through here, what's that going to do?
Put more pressure.
Put more already pressure and not anything here. So let's use the impression pad to map out a shimmed pad for Oliver. So what we did was we took a look at the impression pad, and we came up with this custom shim for Oliver. And you notice that there's very little padding in the back, very little padding in the front, because those were the pressure areas, and it makes more padding in the middle where that saddle was bridged. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and put these back on Oliver with the impression pad, let Lori ride a little bit, and then we'll take a look at the finished product. All right, we had Lori go ride Oliver, and remember, this is kind of what it looked like before. We had this big pressure spot on the shoulder and another one in the back because we had bridging. We custom made it, the shim for, and now we have very even Play-Doh placement all the way through. Okay, so we could very easily make a custom shim for every one of the horses that Lori rides every day, and it'd be a whole lot cheaper, a lot more economical for her to get better motion and better movement with correct padding on these horses. So we need to shim these horses. You also can change those shims. I recommend changing your shims depending on how much you ride, but probably somewhere every 4 to 6 months you're going to need to recheck your horse's shims and rechanging. Because if you want to truly harmonize your horse's health, you need to make sure that every aspect of his life helps him maintain motion, maintain optimal nutrition, and maintain health.